On this episode of Modbox, I'm going to be rebuilding my burnt out turbo. Back in March of this year, my project car I've been working on for the last couple of years was destroyed in a full-on shed fire, full loss. Basically since then, I went through and saved everything I possibly could, and one of those things was the Pulsar turbo I put on. So it's a GT35 76, went really good, and because I like fixing things, I've basically saved whatever I can. And I've done a whole lot of work already, which I'll put on my Instagram, so I'll put a link to that below. One of the bigger jobs it's going to be though is rebuilding this Pulsar turbo. So I'd like to give a huge shout out to Jason at PSR New Zealand, who was able to source me a whole box of bits to try and get this thing back and running again. The cores we're going to have to work on today, basically new bearing cartridge, compressor wheel, give it a clean up, send off for balancing so it'll be good to go in the new car. So I've already done the turbine housing. This was a case of just acid dipping it just to get all the debris off and then sandblasting it. It's been a couple of weeks now, so it's got a little bit of patina back to it again, but turbos do it anyway, so I'm not really too fussed about it. This is basically all that was left. So the first job is today is to pull this thing apart, get all the turbine wheel out, and then I'm going to start cleaning it up, ready for a new bearing cartridge, and then stick it all back together again. Like how bad that seal plate is, and then like inside there doesn't actually look too bad. Now I've got the turbine wheel out and the cores all apart. It wasn't actually too hard for a first time. A couple of little tricks in there. One of them being this little bolt to get the pin out. Just packing it up with a nut and a couple of washers, and it came right out. So the main reason I can actually rebuild this core is because Pulsar actually makes and sells full rebuild kits. You get a couple of different compressor nut sizes and a couple of different heat shields. So I'm not going to end up using all of this because some of the parts are for other turbos. Bearing cartridge is in now. I used the drill press and then just a long socket just to help push on that little pin just to get it in. So you just got to make sure that when that cartridge is going in, the pin is lining up with a little hole that locates it, and then just very carefully drive it in. And then just to make sure it's right, I've got in the old oil restrictor piece, the feed line, put it in there, tighten it up, that's all good to go. Next step. go, front seal plate all done. There's like a tiny little bit of aluminium still stuck to the turbine shaft just from the heat. So what I'm going to do is, I have some hydrochloric acid with a bit of water so it's diluted down. I'm just going to chuck it in for a little bit. Hopefully it should eat all the aluminium. Leave the seal behind. A couple of minutes later and a little hit with the wire wheel and all of the aluminium is gone. It's all good to go back in the core now. So it's been a decently big day and I've been going pretty slow just to make sure I've been doing it right. I've just dry fit all the turbo back together again to check the clearance with the housing. It's all sweet, like it all spins perfectly. So I'm really happy with that. Just wanted to take my time and do it properly, so no complaints there. Only problem is, I've got the wrong compressor wheel. I think when the order came through, I think they sent a 3076 wheel, not a 35, so the hole in the middle, which the shaft goes onto, is actually a little bit too small. And if you look over at the rebuilt kit, there's two different size nuts. So this nut here is the one that suits mine, and this is the one that doesn't, and this is what the compressor wheel has, so it's not going to fit. So I can't finish it off tonight. At the moment I'm still needing the right compressor wheel, the snap ring for the backing plate, and a VSR balance. So I'm going to have to wait a couple of days for all that to happen, but because of the magic of editing, you're going to get to see it right now. So here we go. So I'm back again. I got held up the other day because I had the wrong compressor wheel and I didn't have a way to get this little sucker installed. So what I've done, I've gone and got these bad boys here. I've modified the ends to suit the snap ring. If you've rebuilt turbos, you'll know these things are an absolute arsehole to get in. So I might actually have a chance this time. So that looks like it's seated now. So there's actually a bit of a chamfer on one of the sides of it. So that side's going to be facing upwards. Run around the edge now with a hammer and the screwdriver. Just give it a couple of little taps and just make sure it's all seated. Because the last thing you want is for that to come out. And that snap ring is all seated now. And if it blows off, I'm going to look back to this video and wonder where I went wrong. Alright, good news. Back again. I have this. Unlike the other one, this one actually says 3576 Gen 2, and that's what my turbo is. So this one should actually fit. Let's do it. How cool is that? Come back on now. Well, there we go. I've done it. It's all pieced together now. So at this point, it's going to be a case of getting it balanced. That's something I can't do. It's a little more professional, not something I can just do in the shed. So as you can imagine, I'm pretty chuffed to see this little sucker back together again. It made a lot of smiles once upon a time, and no doubt going forward, it's going to continue to do that. This was the first thing I pulled out of the wreckage. I'll put a photo over top. It was in a bit of a state. It was going to be a desk ornament, and I thought, nah, we could do better than that. So, of course, a big thank you to Jason at PSR, who's got me all the bits to do this with, because I really appreciated that. That was really good of him. If you need a turbo, Pulsar all day, every day. Love them. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing, if you like restoration stuff, building cars, or even just maybe a little bit of learning, please consider subscribing and following the Instagrams. I'll put the link to those below. I'm going to be doing a whole video series on this rebuild, so there's a long way to go. Come along. It's going to be really good. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.